Good afternoon. Welcome. This is the summary to our town hall. I would encourage everybody to go online. We will have the PowerPoints there for you that can kind of walk you through the presentations that occurred in a little bit more detail than the overview that I'm about to provide. As we've done for every meeting, we kind of stay focused on what are our three priorities. How do we make sure we put veterans first every day in every service and everything we do? That's got to be front and center. Second is how do we make this a better place for our employees? And then lastly, how do we make sure that safety, quality, and excellence are at the hallmark of everything we do? All of our actions, all of our priorities really need to tie back to those three key principles of how we want to do business here at Wilmington. The meeting kind of talked a little bit about those priorities, how they need to play out, and what we're doing. Most importantly, we focused on what are our strategic priorities for this year. And we talked about needing to move forward with palliative care and hospice so that those services are more available to our veterans with chronic illnesses, as well as those veterans and families that are struggling with some end-of-life issues. How do we make those services more readily available? We're going to continue with the changes that need to be made with care in the community to make sure there's good coordination and partnered care between the VA and the community when we can't provide services. We're going to continue to advance our initiatives with Philadelphia and Coatesville in the development of an Eastern market, particularly focused on surgical services and really the restoration of our surgical program here at Wilmington. And then lastly, we're going to be finalizing the changes that we've been looking to implement in specialty care, making sure it has the right type of nursing support so we can deliver the timely, coordinated care we need to deliver for our veterans. I talked earlier about our goal of safety, excellence, and quality. The national quality ratings came out this week. They've been published. They're published in USA Today. They're published everywhere. We finished the year as a 3-star. So in the short period of time that we've been all working together, we've advanced 2 stars. We're clearly not where we want to be from a quality perspective, but it does sort of reinforce all the great things you're doing are beginning to make a difference. We're seen as providing better care to our veterans, but there's still opportunities. And a key focus area is really going to be on our HEDIS measures, which are basic screens that we should be making sure we have in place to properly assess and engage our veterans. If we do these screens correctly and make them sort of a routine, hardwire them into everything we do, we can reduce hospital admissions, readmission rates, identify issues, diagnose quicker, get care moving faster. So these screens have to do with mammograms, hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol, PTSD, substance use, depression, and many others. You can look at it. There's over 83 different ones. But the key is how do we get you clinically to make sure this becomes a priority and how we move forward. If we add that to all the other things that we've been doing, again, I think we'll be providing better care to our veterans, which is our ultimate goal. Better care means the likelihood of more veterans coming to us, and that's been happening. We did grow quite a bit over the last fiscal year. We'll continue our engagement and outreach to try to get more veterans to come to us, but they're not going to come to us if we don't have good quality services. So again, asking our clinical leaders to really focus on these HEDIS measures and make sure they become part of the fabric of how we engage, screen, and work with our veterans. Kathy Craig spent a sizable amount of time talking about what we're doing from nursing. She's completed her 100 days assessment. She's moving forward with self-governance and some other initiatives. She's been very active in the changes that have been occurring in specialty care and nursing care throughout the facility. So I think we're going to continue to see great progress from our nurses, having them play a much more active role in leadership, better documentation, and frankly, better care to our veterans. So again, I'd encourage you to look over the slides. Kathy went into a lot more detail. We're also going to be talking about how we're trying to advance a salary survey to address some of the longstanding issues around how we've been compensating nurses. She and I have been working on that, and I think we're getting closer to trying to finalize a plan. So more to come in that area. We then spoke a little bit about HR and the process to begin the end-of-year performance evaluations. Dennis Donahue did a nice job of laying out what the expectations are. Everybody that wants to do a self-assessment, those in the ECF rating categories have to do a self-assessment. They're due by the 12th. We want to have this all put together. We're asking supervisors to take those self-assessments, begin to get their assessments completed, meet with their staff, and walk through the process that Dennis laid out so that we can make sure that for those that have earned the additional recognition based on their performance, that any compensation we can provide to them for their end-of-year performance plans could be initiated before the holiday season. So we chatted about that. Mary Ann gave a nice overview of how we closed out the year, what we're doing this year as far as the budget, how we need to make sure that our priorities are reflected in the budget, what the expectations are for each service in developing and managing their budget throughout the year, which not only includes the FTE, new initiatives, contracts, equipment, all those things, how we're going to be monitoring and managing them this year. We don't expect big changes in the budget. In fact, every expectation is it will be fairly similar to last year, almost flat, if you will, as far as growth. And unless there's some relief from the Congress, we're not expecting a cost of living increase in the budget process for this year. They're really the highlights from the meeting. It was fairly well attended. Hopefully, if you didn't get a chance to attend, you can look at this, get a sense of where we are, what our priorities are, what we're doing, and how we're moving forward with the AES goals that each of you have been setting at the service level and trying to make sure they're woven into the rounding and the leadership meetings that will be occurring throughout the remainder of FY19 to try to make sure we keep you engaged and support you in providing the best care we can to our veterans. Take care. Have a great month. Talk to you next month.